As you can see down here, we have some injectors. Now, what are these? Well, they are Siemens 80-pound injectors. Now, they have the adapters on them. We're not going to use those. But this actually came from a good friend of mine, Joe Nate. So J-E-R-E Speed. I was over at his house last night and we were talking, and he's like, hey man, I got some 80-pound injectors. He said, I'm probably not going to use them. He said, go ahead and take them. I'll just replace them whenever I get a chance. Saves us time and money. Well, not really money because I do have to replace them, but it saves us time for sure. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling the injectors out. We're going to check them all. These things should be fine. They were in good shape when they came out of his car, and they've been put up pretty much ever since. But we're going to check it out, make sure they're all good. These are some really nice rails, but those have to go back to Joe Nate. So I'm going to go ahead and set these off to the side. So why are we doing this? Well, we have 60-pound injectors in the car right now. And if you don't know, 60-pound injectors are really only good for about 500 to 600 horsepower. It depends on who you ask. So what I'm trying to do here is test to see what injectors will work, how far we can push them, what kind of power we can make. Sure, we could go out and buy an expensive set of, you know, Injector Dynamics or whatever other name brand is popular right now. Sure, we could do that. But I do know for a fact that 80-pound injectors on gas will make a lot of horsepower. So with all that being said, I'm just going to look these injectors over. They should be perfectly fine. Make sure nothing's stuck in them. The injectors look good, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and pull this upper intake off the car, get these old 60s out. A good friend of mine, Justin, the one that I got the stroker kit from, is going to be getting the 60-pound injectors. Also, I was talking with Matt, and on my data log, he noticed that my TPS was jumping around. He was like, it was just all over the place. And you know what? I can feel it in the car. As I'm easing along, like throughout the neighborhood or something like that, just kind of easing along, I can feel the car like jerk and snatch. So I've got another TPS. This isn't new. I've got a brand new one somewhere, but where that thing is, who knows? So we're gonna go ahead, put this used one in, see if that changes anything or not. Ultimately, it shouldn't really hurt us at the track, and the reason why I say that is because we're pretty much gonna be wide open throttle regardless. What we may try to do is cram a bigger fuel pump in this car if the 80s alone aren't enough. We're just gonna drop the tank and go in and try to put a bigger fuel pump in it. Anyway, with all that being said, guys, I know that's not what you're here for. I'm gonna go ahead, set a time lapse up. Let's get started. All right, we got everything loose. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the fuel rail. Also, make sure that your fuel system is not pressurized, because if it is, obviously when you pick this fuel rail up, it can squirt you in the face. So I guess the smart thing to do would have been to take my connectors loose first. All right, so we got our 60s out. Like I said, I know a lot of guys like to ask, hey, what are you gonna do with those? These are actually going to a good friend of mine. He's gonna use them. I'm gonna go ahead and address the fact, everybody always talks about my fingernails. Yeah, I know, it's nasty, right? You guys don't like it, you pick at me. Any man that can grow fingernails, I'm telling you, these are the best tools you can have in your arsenal. I use these things for everything. I feel sorry for guys that can't grow fingernails. All right, let's go ahead, pop these things back in. Now, I am gonna lubricate these. What I'm gonna do is just a dab of motor oil around on each one of these. Guys, trust me, it's better than nothing. A lot of you guys don't even use anything whenever you put them in, so just a slight coating is fine. We just don't want to tear these O-rings whenever we put them in. You guys don't typically get to see this part, but you know, we have to get thumbnails for videos. So let's go ahead and set us up a quick little thumbnail. And if I use it, then you'll see it. All right, got ourselves a thumbnail, I think. Now there's a trick to this, guys. Don't think that you can just pop this fuel rail on after you get your injectors and everything's gonna be hunky-dory. There's a trick to this, and I'll show you here in a few minutes. I say a trick. There's a precaution that you should take, and we'll talk about that in just a second. When you put your injectors in and you pop your fuel rail down, make sure that you tap on this fuel rail, wiggle it, make sure these things are in here, because I'm going to tell you, and I'm just going to be straight up with you here. You want to cause a fire, this is the #1 way to do it. Have an injector spray out on your distributor because an O-ring popped out. Obviously, before you start your car up, pressurize your fuel system 3 or 4 times, walk around it, see if you smell anything, see if you see anything, and that's going to be about your best case scenario. Now, I like to take this a step further, and I'll show you how to do it. See, I can see these rails move already, okay? Knock them down, snug it up, hit it again. I feel pretty confident that those are tight. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side, plug everything in, let's get this car put back together, make some changes in the computer, and see if it runs. There is one other thing I want to mention. In this video, I was going to fix the header leak, but we just don't have time. I have to get these in the car and go down the road, get this thing data logged so I can get it to Matt so that he can give me a revision of the tune so that we can go to the track tomorrow. So it looks like we're going to have a slight exhaust leak with this car. I'm just going to have to deal with it until I get back from the track. Anyway, let's go ahead, button this thing up. Oh yeah, one other thing. While we're here, I'm going to go try to chamfer this hole out a little bit. Basically, if you don't know what I mean, just smooth it out so there's no rough, sharp edges, and see if we can get this thing to quieten down, because this throttle body makes a whistling sound, and there's not much I can do. I think the back side's fine. I think it's just going to be on this side. So let me go ahead, see what I can do with that, and I'll let you guys know. All right, so I just went in, touched that up a little bit. It's probably not going to make much of a difference. It's really hard to get to, and I don't want to create a lot of debris. A little is fine because I can wipe it out right here. But yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing back on and see what we got. That's it. Everything is buttoned back up except for a couple vacuum lines. I'm going to go inside, grab the computer, change the injector data on the tune. I'll be back in just a second. All right, so I went in, changed my injector data. It's pretty simple to do, guys. I'm not going to go into that. So we now have the 80-pound Siemens injectors in here, so we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and try to start the car up. The car is so deep, every time I start it up and the door's up there, it wants to fall. Crazy. So that TPS is not reading right. I want to go ahead and take that one off, since that was an old one, and toss this other one back on and see if I can't figure out what's going on here. Anyway, though, as you can see, the car runs good, so I think that's going to wrap this particular video up. Tomorrow, we should be going to the track. We'll see how everything goes, if the car performs right. Either way, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and as always, thanks for watching. All right, guys, I wanted to put this at the end of the video. We lost a very, very good friend, near and dear to my heart, and especially Andrew. This was one of Andrew's closest friends. You guys probably know him as Brutal After Dark, or AKA Zackevious, I like to call him. But guys, look, I don't like making videos like this, okay? And the only reason that I'm covering this in this video now is because some of you guys remember him. You met him at Ford Takeover. He's been on the channel. This was very unexpected how this happened. I'm not going to go into any details. I have mourned enough in the past couple days for a lifetime. So that's not what we're going to do here today. I want to remember Zach as the funny Zach that he was. So if you guys don't know, Zach and his dad used to go to Ford Takeover with us pretty much every year. They only miss 1 year. So guys, feel free to put Zach's family in your thoughts and prayers. If you're not into that, then best of wishes to his family, whatever. Just be thinking about them. These are hard times right now. But Zach was a great guy, and I want to remember him that way. So we're going to do a celebration of life at the end of this video. Zach, we love you, brother. Bang those gears in heaven. Catch you in the next one.
So I'm gonna go into how me, Zach, have met Andrew and Nakia. Well, you know, me and Andrew met because I was into cars, and I had a '67 Ford Falcon that I drove back and forth to school. It was just a 6-cylinder car. It was nothing special. Kind of heard about Andrew's Fox, and you know, this is the black one, of course, and how it would sit outside at our school, and I finally saw it, and I was like, oh, that car is beautiful. One day, a mutual friend kind of introduced us. It went downhill, and now I'm poor, and I have 2 Mustangs and no money. Basically what happens. That's how I met Andrew. Now in Nakia, I noticed one day that someone new moved into my neighborhood, and you know, got to see who that was. And one day there was a white 99 Cobras sitting out there, and talking to Andrew one day, and told him, he's like, oh, that's my stepdad, Nakia. Went over there with Andrew, talked to him a little bit, and we actually were working on Andrew's car, putting a water pump on it, which turned into a whole ordeal. And we just kind of became friends, and then decided I needed me a Fox body. So I bought me my Fox body, and it's supposed to be my daily driver, but you know how that goes. Needs some work on the transmission and stuff like that, and then we'll be able to get it running right, of course. And I have big plans for it, and just mostly appearance, and you know, after it runs right, of course, it'll be some appearance and little stuff like that, and it'll be nice, hopefully. And you'll be seeing it a lot, I'm sure, because you know, bring it over here for the good times and the free labor, you know, because this is America. This is Brutal After Dark, of course, and we'll be getting back to Andrew laying down some painting there, and I think he's got it all nice and dusty in there. And this is Andrew Ross, or Andrew Bain, he likes to be called, because he's a nerd. And he's laying it down. Look at that right there. That is beautiful. Oh man, it's gonna be beautiful. He works hard on his stuff. This is Brutal pre-evening. I think we need to do some call out. Gearhead 704. This is your ass. Foxcast, every car in that shop, this your ass.
I don't think so. That last part. I don't think. You told me they built all that with a rock and a chisel.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
what's his name? Escaped out of jail with a chisel, man.
Maybe
Shawshank.
And
No,
escaped
no,
from
no,
Shawshank,
Shawshank.
man. Andy Dufresne.
There you go.
How many is there?
A whole bunch of.
It's a whole island.
The whole squad's out there, huh?
Let's go like break the ear off one of them and keep it.
Zach here, and I had to go to the store, take a break from Andrew's car, and I figured I'd just give you guys a pull in my 18. And it just has a JLT intake and E85, and it's stock exhaust and everything. It's very slow. If you ever find yourself getting pulled over and you need to get the cop off your back, just offer them some of these right here and you'll be good to go. After every 120-mile-per-hour pull on the highway, you just gotta go for one of these bad boys right here. And they're 2 for $6, so you know you gotta get 2. I mean, diabetes is not that big of a deal. So moral of the story to the gas station is, if you want to grab a lane, we can. Like, it ain't no big deal. See, right now you're getting the screen window vision, because Andrew locked me out because he's a meanie. He in there laying some wet. You know, this is Brutal After Dark, where things can get real. You just never know what's gonna happen. Welcome back to Brutal After Dark. We have Exterminator Andrew on the case, also known as Bob Ross Andrew, and Andrew the Destroyer. Brutal After Dark is getting intense. We'll get back to you in a minute.